Hello, and thank you for attending my poster. My name is Audrey Barszcz, and this is Feature-Based Attention Warps Perception of Color. Feature-based attention enhances processing of a particular feature over other unattended features. For example, attending to red enhances the processing of red over other unattended colors. We still have a limited understanding about the mechanisms underlying the selection of features. For example, it is unclear whether allocating attentional resources to one particular color changes the representational fidelity of other color representations. In experiments using a spatial attention paradigm, there is evidence that locations outside the focus of attention were perceived to be shifted away from the attended location or repulsed from the center of attention, suggesting that attention can also distort perception, not just enhance it. We are interested in seeing how feature-based attention may distort the perception of color. In order to answer this question, we had participants perform a sustained feature-based attention task and then ask them to rate the similarity of colors to the target color. Participants were told to focus on target-colored dots among distractor-colored dots and detect a luminance decrement in the target-colored dots. From trial to trial, the target color was chosen at random from the perceptually uniform CIE lab space. On each trial, the distractor color was fixed at 30 degrees away from the target. The distractor was chosen at this distance to maintain a tight focus of feature-based attention. In order to ensure that the task was engaging feature-based attention for each participant, participants were thresholded to approximately 70% accuracy on the luminance detection task. To examine whether feature-based attention influences color representations within this feature space, on every trial we added a similarity judgment task where we briefly presented two colors at the center of the screen at an unpredictable time. We chose color probes at varying distances around the color wheel, allowing us to map judgments around the entire color wheel. In addition to probing judgments on the distractor present side, we also probed similarity judgments on the distractor absent side. The color probes on the distractor absent side acted as reference points. They are matched in physical distance, but we would expect them to have less influence of the distractor on the opposite side of the color wheel. The plot here shows the color distance in degrees around the color wheel on the x-axis and psychological dissimilarity, or how different these colors appear to people, on the y-axis. The scale on the y-axis is related to people's ability to make a comparison between two colors. Let us start by examining the distractor absent side, which is our reference curve. The 0 and 180 conditions are fixed at 0 and 1, with the other probes scaled in between. This shows which colors are more or less similar with regards to the target color. In order to illustrate what this curve can tell us, imagine you're attending to this pink color, and the 2AFC is between 0 and 60. The correct answer as to which one is more similar to the pink target color is equally confusable with the 2AFC between 60 and 180, because the two choices cover equal distances on the psychological dissimilarity curve. Although the first 2AFC is half the distance of the second in degrees around the color wheel, the similarity judgments are equally confusable, implying that the representation of feature space is not uniform throughout. What we are really interested in is whether the function changes when the distractors move closer in feature space. For that, we can look at the data for the probes on the distractor side. As you can see, there is a difference between the two curves. At all probe values other than 0 and 180, the distractor present curve has a steeper slope than the distractor absent curve. We interpret this as evidence of color perception being distorted. When there is a distractor nearby in feature space, there is finer discrimination between colors closer to the target, and there is less discrimination of colors further away from the target. This means when feature-based attention is deployed, the judgment between 0 and 20 degrees is equally as difficult as the judgment between 0 and 30 degrees when feature-based attention is not deployed. To ensure that the results we found in Experiment 1 were not due to color contrast effects, we performed Experiment 2, this time presenting the color similarity judgment task without the target and distractor colored dots present at the same time. Again, we find that participants are better at discriminating color probes nearby the target when the distractor is close. as if the feature map is expanded nearby the target and shrunk at further distances. The results of these experiments suggest that feature-based attention distorts the feature space when deployed on a single color, similar to spatial attention. This effect may be the result of limited attentional resources. If attentional resources are dedicated to or around the target to select it from a similar distractor, that leaves less attentional resources available for other feature representations, thus shifting these representations across large parts of the feature space. Thank you for listening.